Thank you for joining me today for Yoga Basics Part 2. Today we'll begin by focusing on our breath. It is said that breath is more important than any movement in yoga. Yoga is so much more than just physical movement. It's about clarity, mindfulness, stress reduction. Let's go ahead and begin in a comfortable seated position on our mats or chairs or whatever you're in today. Once you found your comfy spot, feel free to just root those sitting bones into the earth by rocking back and forth gently. If a pillow, a cushion, or even a block is best for what's underneath your sitting bones today, feel free to do that. There is no correct care as long as it feels good in our bodies and it doesn't hurt. Sitting with that spine straight, the shoulders down and away from our ears. Our eyes closed or coming to a soft gaze. We'll practice an Ujjayi breath. The Ujjayi breath will get our nervous system going. And it'll help us warm up. This Ujjayi breath is often used throughout our practice. If we feel ourselves drifting or distracted, we can use that Ujjayi breath to bring ourselves back to center, back to focus. And for that Ujjayi breath, we'll inhale through the nose and then we'll exhale audibly as if we're blowing out birthday candles. And go ahead and practice a few of those breaths. Just taking a moment to notice. Notice the way that breath feels as it enters and leaves our bodies. Not giving too much attention to the way that breath feels as it enters and leaves our bodies. Just taking a moment to notice the way that breath feels as it enters and leaves our bodies, not giving too much attention to how we breathe, but just how it feels. Another breath that we can use at the beginning or the end of practice, another breath that we can use throughout our day if we feel ourselves, again, feeling distracted or drifting. So we'll take a deep breath in through the nose for 5 counts. We'll hold for 6, and then we'll exhale audibly for 8. And then go ahead and run through a 3-part breath as many times as you need. If you feel yourself feeling lightheaded, feel free to return to a normal breath. Again, just engaging that nervous system. Now, when you're ready, I'd like to invite you to bring your hands on the mat in front of you. Go ahead and swing your legs around. We'll start in child's pose, bringing those knees towards the edge of the mat, bringing those sitting bones towards the feet. Feel free to extend the arms or bring them underneath your head. And then just take notice to my back placement. We'll take a few breaths here. When you're ready, we'll come up towards tabletop position. Now, to keep those joints healthy and strong, not injuring them, we want to make sure that our joints are placed correctly. So those wrists are going to be directly underneath the elbows, elbows directly underneath shoulders, and then the knees directly underneath the hips. Keeping those joints aligned this way is really going to help us protect ourselves. We want to make sure to engage our core as we move through a cat-cow. Engaging that core is going to help us protect our lumbar spine. And then as we inhale for cat, starting at the base of the spine, ending at the top of the head, starting at the base of the spine, ending at the top of the head, in both of these cat-cow postures is really going to help us protect that spine. And then again, going for cow, starting at the base of the spine, ending at the top of the head as we exhale. And then feel free to run through a few of those at your own pace, going as deep as you need for your individual body. Just make sure that we listen to our bodies and not push ourselves too hard. We'll take a few more breaths here. And then when you're ready, I'd like to invite you to move towards down dog. So for this down dog, we'll curl our toes, we'll lift from the hips towards the ceiling. Feel free to bring those heels towards the edge of the mat, pedal them out if you'd like. Again, just remembering to engage that core. Just protecting that spine by engaging the core. And then when you're ready, we'll walk our feet towards our hands. We'll reverse our swan dive. We'll bring our hands overhead, taking a few breaths. And when you're ready, we'll bring our hands to heart center. We'll hinge from our hips, coming towards that forward fold. Again, if you've watched video one, you'll know that to bringing those hands towards the block or the mat, keeping that spine straight and hinging from the hips is important. If you need to bend your knees, using those thighs as a shelf for your abdomen, if you will. Taking a couple more breaths. We'd like to invite you to come back, hinging from the hips towards a standing posture. From here, we'll come towards a wide straddle. Now we have two different options here for this wide straddle. We'll move through a few bilateral stimulations. The bilateral stimulation engages the nervous system and actually releases stress through our bodies. If you are a person that goes for a walk or a bike ride, or something of that nature when you're stressed out, that bilateral stimulation of moving our bodies back and forth is what relieves our stress by engaging that nervous system. So for this wide straddle, we have a couple options. Again, always hinging from the hips, keeping our hands behind us, and then moving back and forth for that bilateral stimulation. There's an option here to bring the hands towards the mat and then just moving back and forth. Whichever posture is best for you today. Just remembering to breathe as we move back and forth. And then when you're ready, we'll heel toe our feet until they're about an inch or two apart, hinging from the hips, coming towards a standing posture. Now we'll move to a tree pose. So for tree pose, our balancing postures can be challenging for some people. One thing to remember when you move towards a balancing pose is just to focus on one point in the room, something that is not moving. That'll help us keep our balance. So for tree pose, Feel free to choose whichever version of this posture is best for your body. We can come towards kickstand so that just those toes are on the mat or the ground. We can bring that foot towards thigh, or shin rather, or we could bring it all the way to the thigh. Whatever's best for your body today. I typically stay with my hand or with my foot on the thigh, shin, sorry, I keep saying that wrong. Yogi choice on the arms, keeping the hands, palms of hands to whatever's in front of us. Our hands can come to heart center. You can grow your tree. And if you find yourself having a hard time focusing, it's okay. Just listen to our bodies and keep trying. We'll just take a few breaths. And when you're ready, coming out of that position back towards mountain. Again, with eyes closed or coming to a soft gaze, we'll just take a few breaths. And when you're ready, we'll move towards tree on the other side, bringing that foot towards kickstand, shin or thigh, raising the hands towards the ceiling, and then again, just focusing on one point. And when you're ready, coming out of that position back towards mountain, we'll take a couple breaths. And when you're ready, we'll bring our hands to heart center. We'll close out our practice today with a few deep breaths. Allowing that breath to bring us to center. If we feel ourselves stressed at all, we can use that breath to bring us back to center. It's the one thing we can take with us anywhere that we go. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you be well. When you're ready, we'll bow for namaste. Thank you so much for joining me for Yoga Basics Part 2. Feel free to reach out with any questions. We also teach classes via Zoom every week, and we do have in-person classes if you are in Utah. All right, thanks so much. Again, feel free to reach out if you have any questions. Have a great day.